And cattle prices, when they came back off their dizzying heights of 18 months ago, wasn't reflected in the Wagyu breed, whether F1s or full blood and purebred cattle. They established and entrenched their worth at the premium end of the market. Demand is strong, confidence high, and to tell me about their future, I'm joined by Laird Morgan. Laird, the story of Wagyu is absolutely fascinating. Japanese cattle really only in Japan up until the 90s. And then what happened?
There was a group of Australian producers had been over there and saw the Wagyu breed and had instigated the export of those cattle. Without going into too much detail, that only lasted for a very short period of time to be able to take the genetics out of Japan, and they went via America and Canada before they came to Australia. And then they were declared a national treasure, so there isn't any more genetics to get out of Japan, so very lucky.
Fast forward 30 plus years and Australia is a very significant player in the Wagyu game.
Yes, we are, Lindsay. We've got, I think, 70% of the world's Wagyu exports come from Australia. So the rest is worldwide in mainly America and some in Europe. But so yeah, we're big players in the world Wagyu market at the moment. So.
$2 billion in exports to 40 different countries. It's an industry that is now an unstoppable force. When did you first become involved, and what was the move for you from Shorthorn across to Wagyu?
Well, Lindsay, we have a feedlot. Lilybale Feedlot's a major part of our family business, and so for us, we first started in the Wagyus. I, like most other cattle producers, saw Wagyus earlier than in '95 when they first came. Sorry, in 8 years ago, whenever we got into them, but they were ugly little things, and so we didn't have much to do with them. But I went to a Wagyu conference in Yeppoon, and as I tell the story, I ate meat for 3 days without using a knife, and thought I've been asleep at the wheel. I need to do something about that. And with our feedlot component in our business, it's sort of, as they are the premium feedlot product, it was a logical step for us to move into the Wagyu scene.
It's interesting you make the comment, because what they lack in looks they make up for in their peerless marbling capabilities. But the appetite for Wagyu is insatiable, apparently worldwide. Where do we go next for demand? How do we keep making sure that the world wants more and more Wagyu?
Well, I think it's just a matter of educating more of our consumers in a lot of the Asian countries. I think there's a huge untapped market in America as well. Those guys, they know how to eat meat already. They just we need to educate them to eat a higher quality Wagyu product than they are at the moment. So look, I think the world's our oyster, and we just need to keep developing the markets that we've had and expand on those. So.
Even up here in Queensland, 10% of the herd now is Wagyu, and imagine that will continue to grow into the future. You talk about your relationships with other countries, and the Australian Wagyu Association doesn't just close off the borders. You're going to open a new office overseas.
That's correct, yes. We actually, we're going over on the 17th of this month. There's a contingent of the Australian Wagyu Association directors and our CEO, Matt McDonough. So we open a office in Texas, in Fort Worth, on the 17th. So I'm not sure if it's a first for any breed to have a second office in another country, but we'll claim it till someone proves me wrong.
We'll get some texts in a moment, don't you worry.
So.
I noticed at the conference recently that you held in Cairns that you did have a lot of internationals there. What is that relationship with your members that don't live in Australia?
Well, it's been very good, and look, it's the service that the Australian Wagyu Association supplies over and above what other breed associations traditionally do. There's a lot of good ones out there, but we've got now sort of 1,450 or something members, of which I think 400 of those are overseas members, and then of those 350 of them pretty much in Texas, in America. So to service those members correctly, with just the same services as we offer our Australian members, we just needed to be in a different time zone. So that's why we've taken another office over to Fort Worth in Texas.
Well, Laird, from those 200 original cattle that were made accessible from Japan back in the 90s to today, your organisation has a database of some 400,000 animals. You're 3 years into a 10-year data collection project. What are you learning so far, or is it too soon?
Look, it's a progeny test program that I think you're referring to, and look, we're 3 years in, but it's just lifting our accuracies in all traits that we measure, and there's a realm of those I won't go into, and it's just getting those more accurate. It's also trying to find some of the other not so widely used genetics and prove those one way or another, either good or bad. And as you mentioned before, the gene pool's fairly small, so we're on a trajectory of trying to find many good cattle with different genetics as we possibly can. So
I think as a cohort, Wagyu breeders are known to be pretty progressive, and you've got some phenomenal technology, the likes of partnerships with the CSIRO.
And with those guys, they've done that feeder check system with us, and we've had some great support from our members with that. And in a nutshell, the feeder check really just allows us to genomically identify commercial cattle that will perform in the feedlots. And the major traits there are eye muscle area, average daily gains, marbling, and fat depth. So, and it's what it'll enable us to do is to identify the commercial cattle that don't have pedigrees that'll perform in the feedlots. So yeah.
Laird, you've barely had a few days to pop home to Condamine between Cairns conference, coming back here to beef. Where are you taking the conference next year to?
Next year we're going to Western Australia, so to Perth, and so that's the next plan, is to go over there, and I think we'll be able to partake in a bit of a tour of the wineries afterwards. So looking forward to that too.
Laird, it's been great to catch up with you. Good to see the Wagyu contingent out here, nice and strong. And don't go anywhere. We will be back with political leaders descending on beef, including the PM, and asking some of the hard questions.